live. Might get a little breakup. I don't know if you can hear my kids, but if I will, you're gonna have a ride. Not cool. So basically, as it stands, once again, we here just with a quick little video, man. Put it up there with them little kids out there playing. I was at a water park with my kids one day, and there was some kids out there on these little bumper boats and stuff in the dude. And the crazy part is, man, we gotta start having something for the kids to do. You know, you can't sit there and complain about them being bad. You can't sit there and complain about them not doing the right thing when we're not giving them a helping hand. We can give the keys to the kingdom, you know, to a child, but without training them or helping them in the right direction and stuff, it's crazy. I'm gonna stay off that topic with what's her name, Chandra Richardson. It was a crazy thing that happened. She knew better. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But you know, training these kids up to do right, be right. You know, give them different opportunities, man. You know, in a sense, explore the world. You know, don't get caught up in certain things. It can actually help you, for the embetterment, you know, making yourself do good, make yourself be good in a certain way helps out. I'm just, it's like, it's crazy. We got a lot of kids out here that nobody pays attention to. You know, what's going on, Captain and Friends, Gold P, Swoop Like Me. It's it's crazy, the more I think about it, because some people don't get a fair shot at life. You know, I'm gonna drop a video later. You know, if I'm gonna do it as a premiere or not, but I was looking at the dude Jay Prince last night, and he was talking about he had to outgrow that poverty mindset, and that speaks to a lot of people and their kids, to where you know a lot of kids just want to do better than their parents. A lot of kids just want to do better than the next person, instead of just doing better in life. You know, shout out to the people that actually take the consideration that life is short, and they start gravitating to do better in life. You know, and wanting better and more for your kids. Some kids don't even get that opportunity. You got kids that have two-parent households still are not equipped to go out in the world. Just as much as kids who are in single-parent households. Like I said, I know in these little areas right here, I'm about to start dropping in and out a little bit, but you know, going into those single-parent households, kids who are orphans. And it was crazy. I was actually applying for college, and I don't know if I think I said this on a panel one time before, but because my parents died when I was young, they classified me as an orphan when I was filling out my paperwork for my FAFSA and everything. I ended up didn't even go to college. Situations happen, but I had like partial scholarships. I actually had a full scholarship to go to Howard to go wrestle there, and they ended up cutting the program for the equal opportunity. I think for girls in sports, for women in sports. So they ended up clipping the program for them because they had, I guess, track for both, basketball for both. They probably had volleyball, and there was another sport they equal out. And when it came to wrestling, they had to cut the sport. So lost that scholarship. That was a full ride. Lost that one. Ended up getting a little partial for Norfolk. I ended up getting a partial for well, no, I'll take that back. Norfolk, they said that I had to go there the first year, then they will consider giving me a partial or going from there. But then had a partial to go to William Penn. Found out later William Penn was a great college for wrestling. One of my friends went there, and he placed I think in the Big Ten or whatever high ranking that they have within their division. He placed in that, so it was a good thing for him. I was proud of him. You know, I don't regret a lot of my choices in life. Because I wouldn't be in the situation that I am in. Married, doing things for my family. But when it comes down to it, I put a lot of emphasis on my kids to do better, you know, and I try to, put them in a situation where they can win, you know, to the best of my ability. If I can provide some type of training, some type of, extra push with money, I'll make it happen. That's one of the things that I did with Alonzo. You know, Alonzo's a good guy. He went through some situations when he was younger, but he overcame that, you know, and put himself to having a business mindset in order to, help people and provide people, not only just life insurance, he does real estate, financial advisor to a certain extent. I think he helps out along those lines, And the crazy part is, a lot of people they don't get that opportunity like that. You know, it was a dramatic thing that happened in his life that changed him, and you always remember where you came from, but then you've overcome and went to greater heights. And I actually, like I said, I went through him and got my life insurance for my kids, and looking at probably getting some more for me, along the lines. That was my intent before we started that process. But I went on ahead and looked at my kids as having that more than me because I can always add life insurance along the line, down years and whatever. But my goal is to keep my kids in good standards. I was joking with them over the weekend. Uh, I know my phone might be breaking up right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and I know it's got to be breaking up. I'm in this rural area, but like I said, it normally okay. So basically, when it come down to it, I hope you can hear me now. I know in certain areas it break up, but like I said, I want to go ahead and get my younger kids in good standing, and now I'm gonna be working on my older kids with them getting life insurance. And my son, he, she's pretty much she's out of college. My son, he's working his job, so I'm gonna have to work with him a little more, trying to get his life insurance situated to where he can start paying it on his own. But my daughter, yeah, she's pretty much got her stuff together. She runs a business and everything. She does a little investing and stuff. And a lot of this stuff, she kind of learned on the fly because, she wanted to be more into, you know, being independent. So she started researching and looking up stuff on her own, got a bigger grasp on things than her brother did. And with him, he has a good understanding of it, but to me, when I talk to him about it, it's just not his lane right now. he knows he can get into, stock and things. He has a real good mindset on, helping people. He ended up going down to a certain area where he's at in college in Valdosta, and he was helping some, refugees. A lot of people came over. There's a certain area down there where I guess most of the people stay, and they go down there. And I believe it's, I don't know if it's with his church or just with a couple of friends in college, because he actually wants to open up a food truck and cooking Jamaican food. That's his thing. So he's real big into that because he's Jamaican. And far as helping people, he has that kind heart. You know, real good mindset. What's going on, Vivian? Sorry, I forgot. King, the Lion King, 24245. No, I'm sorry, that's Zeke 45. So I'm driving. I see the phone up here in my peripheral. That's why I mostly try to stay on topic as I'm talking, but I don't really have a topic, so it's good for me to look to the side every so often and look at my phone because it's dead in front of me. Don't have to really touch it. Just you know, scrolls along, and I can hit it at a red light. View people. But and Vivian, I know I said you. I'm sorry if I didn't. Go P and Captain and Swoop. But yeah, he has a good heart, and I credit my wife for raising him for the most part until I came in the picture and toughed him up. He was a little timid little boy. I didn't really, apply too much on him because you know I wanted him to grow in and not be so rough and rugged and bad. And that's just like one of my sons. My youngest, I got twins, so one of them he already has an attitude. What's going on, Joe? Yeah, one of my twins, this dude is conceited. He knows it. He told me a couple of times that he's good at everything. He even he has that Scarface mentality. Even when he's wrong, he's always right. And I always try to make him humble himself. You know, but I mean, I told him that's a good thing to have, but you still gotta humble yourself. You know, and both of my boys, they grew up, they growing up right now. They're not tough. You know, even though they get into their little situations and they end up might have to fight. I try to show them a little bit, not enough, to where they can want to go out there and pursue fights and stuff, but to just to defend themselves. I actually gonna put them in some sports and stuff now, and get them situated. They want to do karate. Now I'm finna go ahead and get them some pets and everything. What's going on, Bunny Rose? What's going on? So when it comes down to it, it's a lot of situations I'm gonna have to put my boys in to get them prepared, and I'm cool with them learning certain things with the aspect of them, you know, understanding life and just knowing that things are gonna come and you gotta learn how to deal with them, as they come, the way they come. Shout out to Nino in the building. Hey Nino, I did some reviews on your I gotta go back and do another review, man, because that was good, man. That you were doing on the Asian, you were doing on the report. You also had, a couple of Asian people came in and talked. So that was a good thing. Like I said, I hope you guys can hear me while I'm driving in and out to these little drop areas over here. But yeah, shout out to Nino. But when it come down to it, like I said, we gotta start thinking more of these kids, what we gonna do with them, how we gonna help them. You know, like I said, I always push generational wealth, trying to get, people to stay focused on providing not only the money for the kids, but the education as well. You know, the kids are going to need education. The kids are going to need that education. You know, at the end of the day, that's where it really counts. Let's see. Here, see if I can do this real quick. Because I know Nino is not. All right, there you go. You locked in, Nino. Yeah, but as it stands, a lot of the kids, they'll get the money, but they don't know what to do with it. You know, and it's crazy. I always bring this story up, you know, to someone. I mean, I done said it. It's almost like the telephone game, to where I probably mix up the story even more than what it was. But I was on the luncheon with Alonzo, where he has his brunch webinar with his company, and there was a young man. I think he got like a little bit over 1.5 or three whatever million, and got it through life insurance. And the guy, about a year and a half was broke. Bought a Ferrari, took some trips to Dubai, had a couple of parties. I'm quite sure it wasn't just Dubai, it was Miami, locally, uh, Puerto Rico, Brazil, all the hot spots that everybody talk about. You can't do it without a girl, or you can't do it without your crew. So, that took effect where you had to pay for those people. And ultimately, the guy ran out of money. You know, he didn't get the knowledge to, once you get the money, you got to invest. Got to invest. And that's something bad that a lot of people don't do, is invest, when they get large sums of money. I seen these I always talk about the curse of the lottery. I always talk about the curse of the lottery. I always talk about how the lottery changed my life. Those two. The curse of the lottery is when, you have people that hit the lottery and pretty much ruin their life. I seen a couple episodes where people just took their life because they were balling so much, broke their marriage up. Most of 9 times out of 10, a lot of those people, if you don't get to a standard of being humble, that marriage is gone. That marriage is gone. Like, you literally just, it's over. Ain't no way around it. Guys get cocky, women get cocky. They got the money, they think they can cheat and do whatever for no repercussions. I got all this money, she ain't going nowhere. Got all this money, he ain't going nowhere. And sometimes people just leave just to get half. There was a situation where, I think in Texas, guy hit the lottery, real nice old couple. I guess the wife was tired of him anyway. She left him. Um, Went on to go out on a bar with a friend, and ended up pulling the bartender guy from the bar that night. They was driving in the car. Nobody was wearing seatbelts. I think ended up flipping the car, threw the passengers out. I guess the only thing to save her was probably the steering wheel to keep her, kind of position. And she ended up getting manslaughter. All of them was towed up in the car, driving, drugs in the car. Like, she ended up getting manslaughter or something like that. But she spent the rest of her life in jail. All that money in the account. Now she got to trust somebody to transfer that money to take care of, her while she's in there. Then you had one where the lottery changed this guy's life. He was a track coach. End up helping the kids at the school, helping the community, and still went to work. Made all that money. He invested into the school system, where he worked at his school, and ultimately, provide the school with new uniforms, all that stuff. He got a nicer truck, but other than that, ain't too much what he did with his money. Wife still stayed with him, pretty good. So the point of getting the money is a good thing, but what are you gonna do when you get the money? You know, I know one of my sons, he like real nice, fancy stuff, and his biggest thing is owning a Tesla dealership. So let's say I get $1 million policy. Can I trust my son to end up having a Tesla dealership if I leave him so much money? You know, I think it's what did the guy say one time? What was it? Ah man, I forgot. I talked to what was it? Malcolm Cunningham down here in Atlanta. He has a dealership, and I was talking to some people at the radio station, and he was coming on, and what he actually did was he was talking about how much money he had to put down for the license to just start selling, Ford. So you got to pay for the license before you can even. Oh, got a little noise in the background before you can even get the Ford, to start selling them. It's not like you doing used cars where you buying them from auctions or something like that, or personally selling them. Newer cars, you got so much invested into the cars, you will have to actually, get the license to sell. Same thing with Nike. I think it was 50,000 at the time when one of my friends was selling Nikes. He was selling, legit Nikes, custom, all that stuff. But he ended up going to go try to get the license because he was making so much money on them, and it shocked him how much it cost just to get that. So a lot of people don't know this stuff. You gotta get this information that you find out and give it to the kids. You gotta get this information that you find out and help somebody else. Even if it's an adult, because they can pass that knowledge on to their kids. You know, and when it come down to it, like I keep saying, the kids are the future. Kind of cliche. That's the biggest thing. The kids are the future. So we got to teach them about bills and stuff. My son, he was getting on me because he said this week I was supposed to show him again on, the breakdown of my check, where all my money go, and show him how my bank account is set up. Shout out to Kevin Hart. So I can show him where all this money goes. So when he always want his toys, I can hit him with, this is where your toy money's at right here. This is where the money for this is going. This is where the money for that is going. So he'll have a good understanding that when it comes down to it, when I say no, I'm not saying no because I don't want to do it. It might not just be in the budget, you know. To the extent if he knows if he's not doing what he's supposed to do, he's automatically gonna get a no, regardless, you know. But to an understanding in a budget to where he knows this, because one of my sons, he saved a lot of money just to buy Robux cards. His granddad gave him some coins. I've been saving them a little piggy bank. I ain't been giving to him because I already know the moment I give them that money, all they want to do is just ball out. And my my brother, one of my brothers, he spoiled the crap out of them, man. This dude, they swear my brother rich. Ever since they were little, they've been getting gifts from him, been getting, everything from clothes, shoes, toys. I think this year probably he missed a birthday, but then when I talked to him, he's like, "Man, look, just just get them some gift cards like they want, and I'll shoot you the money back. You know, he said, I got you. I was like, cool. You know, this dude always, do stuff for him. You know, in their eyes, he rich. You know, he the best uncle, and more than my wife's brothers. You know, doing the most of everything, man. He's one of the ones that got him one of the dirt bikes. I bought one, he bought one, and when it comes down to it, man, I try to show them the way, to the extent to where they can learn certain things as I'm showing them. Because as they were young, I used to do this little trick to them. I used to buy them so many things from like the Dollar Tree, and they used to always think like every weekend I give them like $20, $15, go to the Dollar Tree. They just buying all these toys, going on one, buy all these toys and stuff from the Dollar Tree. All they knew, oh, I'm sorry, Charles Gilmore the third. Sorry, I ain't shout you out. I seen your name up there. But yeah, I get them all this stuff from the Dollar Tree, and they used to always think, dang, Daddy got a lot of money. And as they kept growing more and more, I just told them, you get your books and stuff together. I'll go ahead and get you whatever you want. So the more I said that to them, oh, they was loving it. Tell them when they get home, they was in the dinosaurs as they started getting into school. So I would tell them, all I need you to do is sit here, give me book reports, and if you give me these book reports and they're done properly, I'll go ahead and buy these toys. More and more, they kept saying, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do these book reports. All right, I'm gonna go on and do this. I'm gonna go on and do this. And as it stood, I started buying more toys. I'm like, oh man, this is getting expensive. I thought these kids was gonna, get out of this book report. Have them do a book report and I think first grade, between kindergarten and the first grade, you know, and they was like, well, some of the stuff we don't know how to spell so good. I'm like, it's in the book. You read in the name. If you don't know the words, what I tell you to do? Ask me. I'll tell you. So for the most part, they was loving it. They was like, all we gotta do is read these books and daddy gonna give us whatever we want. Like, oh man, I like this. This is a fair trade. Good deal. You know, can't ask for nothing better than that. So to an extent, they was, just overjoyed. They can get anything and everything they want. All they gotta do is just read these books and do this and do that. They was like, man, this is easy, you know. And as time went on, more and more, that's all they kept saying was, man, I gotta read these books. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And I gave him that mindset. What's going on, Kane? And I gave him that mindset, man. Gave him the mindset to sit there and want to do all this stuff. Gave him that mindset. Over time they started losing it because I wasn't staying on them as much. But for the most part, you know, I'm getting them back in line, getting them back right, getting them to where they can get back more on the books and focus. But a lot of kids don't have parents pushing them like that. A lot of kids don't have their parents pushing them like that. So, as a result, they only gonna, do the bare minimum. When it come down to it, it's only what's required of me. I'm not gonna do everything. I'm not gonna do all the stuff. I'm only gonna do the bare minimum what is required of me. And a lot of people don't understand that. You know, when it comes to a lot of the kids in the community and stuff like that, you got to figure out, like, how you gonna help the kids in the community? If you're not, let's go ahead and figure out the kids in your own household. How you gonna help them? If not, let's go ahead and figure out, you know, your nieces and nephews if you don't have kids. How you gonna help them? You know, the biggest thing is kids want to do things. They want to learn. They, be in position to win, but they gotta have, that push. You know, I looked at this guy and it was funny to death. There was a man who was just a total, like, worst of the worst child. This man sit there and said that as far as him in school, he's like, man, I suck horribly in school. He's like, there was nothing that I was doing that was perfect. I just like didn't even have the urge or energy to even, kind of do school the right way. But when it came down to it, he said he was kind of forced into it or pushed into it, as people, depend, whatever you want to say, tomato, tomato. But it was crazy because he was like, man, at the end of the day, he fooled around, D student, horrible grades, end up getting, I think, a 1400 on the SAT. Everybody swore he cheated. Everybody swore he cheated. And lo and behold, they was like, nah, he did his thing. He's a good kid, I guess. And, he knows what he's doing. Everybody was happy. At that point, dude started taking school serious. And I think this was like in the ninth grade or something. He said he had did this. Started taking school serious and everything. And lo and behold, fooled around and everything came out. That year, it was 7 people that pretty much were horrible kids. End up, the Scantron gave them like awesome grades. Just awesome. Like awesome. Not awesome grades, but scores, I mean. Awesome scores. The scores were so like off the charts. All those kids damn near excel. Only because of that. And I'm like, wow. This guy was like, man, all I needed was a push. If I would have never got that push, I would have never succeeded in life. He's like, because as it stood, you know, he was, just a little bad. Failed. I mean, he just the kid that wasn't bad. He just failed out because he didn't take life serious. Going on, Lonzo? Just to never really take life serious. And when it came down to it, life got the best of him to the point where he was like, man, I ain't gonna do nothing for myself. I ain't gonna do nothing in life. But that SAT score and his parents getting on him like, man, you smart. We didn't know this. It changed his life. And it was to the point where ultimately, when it came down to it, he looked at life. Yeah, he looked at life just because of that, was saying, he had a better opportunity at life only because he fooled around and got a high SAT score. You start taking things more serious and everything else. So, as a stand, he had a better outlook on life, and a lot of people don't understand that. It's like all it takes is one situation in life to change, you know, and that's what most kids need, is one situation to change their life, you know. Hold on right quick, that little think connection. Let me check my connection real quick. Yeah, sorry about that. Got a little call. Start doing like, hey, start doing a no disturb so people can't call me while I'm broadcasting. But yeah, when it come down to situation, you got to be in it to win it. A lot of these kids don't know potential because nobody's telling them that they good at anything. Nobody's telling them, you know, one of the famous quotes. I'm gonna say it's famous. Shout out to Terrence from Hustle and Flow. Shout him, man. You know, when it come down, this thing be jumping. Yeah, but with Hustle and Flow, when he was telling the dude about did he know Ludacris character, in the movie he was explaining that when the little girl gets up, she want to be the president of the United States. He gonna look her in the face and lie. You know, in most cases, that's what you got to do to some kids. Tell them they got the potential to be and do anything and everything. You know, as the old saying, lie to them, make it sound fly to them. Because at the end of the day, hey, they're gonna need you, in their life. Some they need that motivation, you know, and you motivating them to let them know that everything's gonna be okay. Cool. Without the motivation, then what? You know, I ain't gonna be great. And nobody not gonna show me that or how I'm gonna be great. Might end up being mediocre. You know, some people got drive in them to where they don't need no help. They're just gonna succeed in life no matter what. There's a Facebook guy I watch sometime. I think his name is Nas. It's spelled Nas, but I think he said his name is Nas or something. I forgot. But this guy always go to different countries, and at the end of his video, he's always say, just 1 minute or something like that. To the extent where there was a guy he showed how the dude mom died 3 days after birth through like a storm on an island. Dad ended up finding him. Dad had some rich guy said that he'll train his son, send him to school, gave him some money, but ultimately set him out to sea. I don't know what the intent was to, see if he'll survive or something like that. But he ended up coming back, became a fisherman. I guess because he had the boat. He ended up becoming a fisherman, fisherman for years, got in trouble, started drinking and stuff like that, wilding out, and ended up going to jail, came out, started teaching himself how to read at like 45. He would try to read books, learn little stuff. You know, right now, everything is audio. I mean, you can learn to the degree in which if you want to learn. But once he start, going in with the basis of him trying to, learn how to read, his next step was, real good. He, start getting into things and start learning more about life and learning more about, the things that he need to do in order to, survive and to be in the world. And that helped him out a lot. You know, he started cleaning up his island that he was at and started picking up cigarette butts. Took 1 million cigarette butts, picked them all up, and took the cigarette butts and started making art with them. Now he's like known for like, his artwork with the cigarette butts. He gluing them all together on, items, lining them up. It's like that was the thing with him. Hey, how you doing? The real deal with Shonda Davis. What's going on? But when it come down to it, you gotta understand a lot of people, you know, they miss out on life at the beginning. You know, there's situations or hurdles that's, in between. But as you go forth in life, my grandmother always told me two things. Ain't nothing worse than you know, a old fool. I mean, a young fool. She's like, if you're a young fool, that's bad. But an old fool, it's just even worse because you still didn't learn nothing, you know. And in some instances, that's what most of these people are doing. You know, you didn't learn nothing when you was younger. You didn't learn nothing when you was older, you know. But to the extent of you learning and putting yourself in a better place, better environment, it helps, you know. And some people, that's the key to life, bettering yourself. You got to start learning certain things in life to better yourself. You 50 years old and you start learning how to trade stocks at 50. Hey, it's better to do it then than to not do it at all. And then when it comes to that, guess what? You can help some young person that don't know about stocks, that do know about stocks, that can teach you better. You know, it's enlightenment. A lot of stuff I learned, it was self-taught. You know, when it came down to it, people told me about changing tires. I learned on my own because I watched other people do it. That's what I talk about with training. I talked with my son one day, my oldest son, and I was telling him, I was like, man, you work so hard, and I'm proud of you. And it came down to it to where, I was like, I didn't really teach you a lot of this stuff as far as working hard and doing what you got to do. He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, I learned about watching you. He's like, that was my training. Just seeing you go to work, pay bills, and take care of the family, that made me want to do the same thing. And people look at the formal training as, take this screwdriver, put it in here. This step one, step two, step three. You know, when it came down to it, my granny, she told me, she said, this is how you cook. So you grab this egg, crack this egg, take about a scoop of this flour, you put it over here, you shake it with a spoon. She said, most people use cups, I use a spoon. Take that spoon, I get so many big scoops of it, like a mountain. Shake it over into there, then I know what I got. I said, okay. She say, when you do that, then your next step is you want to go ahead. If you want to put some in there to sweeten it, but other than that, take your egg, take your flour, put a little milk in there, whip it up, put it in the pan. There go your biscuits. Put some butter in there, you good. Or let's go to the next one. Making pancakes. Same process, but depends on the batter. Put a little lemon juice in there. I learned that later. My little tricks of trade: lemon juice and vanilla extract for the flavor. The lemon juice adds it with like a moist type of watery, like not water, but like a moist taste when you bite into the pancake. The vanilla is just for the flavor. Cinnamon if you want to as well. Cook a little bit. If y'all watch my channel, y'all see what's going on, Auntie. But I do a little cooking. I'm still waiting on Gold Professor challenge me to this chop. I'm still waiting on my contenders. Kane the God, Sir Ism, Dusty. You know, still waiting on my challenge. I ain't saying I'm a certified chef. You know, fall along the lines sometime of being a sous chef, but you know, got a little skill. I cook from scratch. I'm still waiting on my guys to go ahead and challenge me with that. But Yeah, man. I talked about you earlier, Lonzo. You might have to go back and look at it, listen to it a little bit if you didn't catch it, but like more or less, like I keep saying, it's more the growth for the kids. No, that's what I'm focused on, trying to, advance these kids. Some of them, they don't get a fair shake at life. But like I keep saying, it's, the growth, the process in which they learn to do better for themselves and until, help others out. You know, if I tried to become a lawyer and it didn't work, I had different situations come about, I'm gonna make sure my son might be one if he want to be one. That's my thing. I've grown to realize forcing kids into different careers. Sometimes it just isn't good. You gotta let them find their path. But the best thing to do if you want them to go in them careers, you put that opportunity in front of them. You know, Toya, how you doing? You put that opportunity in front of them. When it comes down to it, if I want my son to become a doctor, it's just as easy as always taking them around to physicians. You know, uh, let's take for instance, I was at my friend's house this weekend. Friend got a nice house with a pool, real nice neighborhood. My older son came down, and my kids always go over there. They love him. I was like, Daddy, he got a nice house. It's got a pool, big yard. You know, I was like, yeah. I said, this is what we gonna get right here. He's like, yeah, can we get a pool? I said, I don't know about the pool, depending on, because my thing is, I'm like Vivian, I want the land. So I'm looking at getting some land, but I already know with my wife, I'm gonna have to make certain sacrifices unless I build a house. I'm gonna have to make certain sacrifices to, obtain my land that I want, so I can, get my man cave, and everything else that I want. I want my basement to where I can have my parties, or I just go ahead and build me a warehouse in the back because I'm gonna have all my toys for my four wheelers and my workshop. Go ahead and have my tools. I already got a lot of tools, and I learned all this stuff on the fly from YouTube. I'm actually doing a egg in epoxy. I've made a egg in epoxy, so I'm trying to see how that works. My cousin, I got him into that, so he just made some little tree decoration in epoxy, and he's framing it. And we don't went all in. I mean, I had most of the tools that he pretty much is using right now. I had a Dremel kit. I actually had three of them. I gave him all three, because I wanted to force him into, doing some other stuff. And I end up buying another one. It was cheap, wasn't that expensive, but got it like offer up or something. So end up getting that, getting him into that to where he can, start working with that. And now he's got him a little, hobby to do because, he's not working like at the time. But, like I say, he got a little money stashed away to the point where he don't gotta work if he don't want to. And to the extent, helping him trying to, see different little stuff. I had the routers, table saws, jigsaws, miter saw, got all these different little saws, got workhorses, got a lot of, little air guns, nail gun, staple gun, all kind of little tools. I just buy stuff, because I know certain things I do. I actually built my workbench out of old pallets that I get. So it's not it's not hard for me to learn how to do stuff, and if I don't know how to do it, I go seek the knowledge. Like I said before, one time I end up changing my Cadillac converter on one of my trucks because they were trying to charge me eight was it 1800, and I was like, nah, I'm good. They was like, well, what you gonna do? I explained to them. I'm like, oh, it's gonna get done. Went to this place down here in Atlanta. Summit Racing, big racing company. Found out they had it online, the part for like 550, and that was the original dealership. And I didn't have to do any cutting and welding. That was the original part. And I was like, that was cheap. So I ended up getting that. Went on ahead and put it on myself. No problem. Same thing with certainly my wife. I broke her control arm. It was I blame her. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But broke the control arm on her car, driving home one time and the tire bust on me. And I explained to her, I don't drive her car. So you gotta let me know when something don't feel right, or you just randomly look at your car every so often. I had like 3 trucks at the time. Anytime one of my trucks mess up, I drive the other one, fix it later. And it was crazy. I was like, I gotta get rid of one of these trucks and end up driving her car one night because saving on gas, and it was late. Didn't check the car, and then all I knew was oil change was coming up. That's one thing she do. She makes sure the oil just changed, but any other little stuff, not really. I ended up buying the new tires on one of her cars. Costing like $600 some dollars. She didn't like that I did that, but like I explained to her, I was like, look, in a situation, I can have used cars on my vehicle because I change my tire. I go ahead and go get some new ones because I drive. But I don't have time for you breaking down. Because I think when I first got with my wife, before we were just dating, her one of her tires bust, and she called me and I was out of town. Luckily, I got my brother to come over there, and he changed the tire for her. And then from that point on, we got a AAA, and start going from there. You know, because a lot of people don't know with their insurance. If you got full coverage, it's just like having AAA. They'll have someone come out and change your tire for you. A lot of people don't know that. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and jump off right now because I got some things I gotta take care of. And Roger's coming on, so shout out to Roger and the habitual line steppers. And I might see you guys over there. So all right. Once again, like I always say, we gone. Shout out to everybody.